Hey everyone, this is Grimmy. Today I'm going for a more relaxed video, mainly because I'm really tired. University hasn't been kind to me. Love it, but it's hard. So I'm just going for an unscripted video of me talking over some of my drawings I did for Goretober 2018. I did this last year with my 2017 drawings, but I only listed them off. I didn't actually explain, my ideas behind the drawing, if there even were any. So this year I'm gonna do that. The list I used this year is from the Closet Guardian on Tumblr. Their links will be down in the description, as well as the link to the original list. So yeah, starting off with day 1, extra limbs / eyes / mouth. I went for a sort of fusion gone wrong with this one. I'm not a fan of Steven Universe, but I really like the concept of a fusion between two characters. The characters I use in this fusion are Weirdo and Grimmy. Grimmy is sort of my mascot and the character you see in some of my videos, and Weirdo is the main character for one of my stories, and he is actually one of my favorite OCs. But yeah, so I went for a fusion gone wrong, but more like a Frankenstein fusion gone wrong sort of idea. For some reason I started off this list traditionally, and because of that I was like, I'm gonna just do all of them traditionally. So yeah, it's not too bad. I like the face a lot. I think I like the multiple mouths. I think the personality I went behind this character is that Weirdo is between the two minds of Grimmy and Weirdo. Weirdo's the one who's taken over, but Grimmy is desperately trying to get out of this situation, and which is why he has claw marks on his face. So Weirdo's like, yeah, this is fine, I don't care, and Grimmy's like, no, let me out, I don't want to do anything to do with this. So yeah, very, very opposite characters when it comes to personality. So yeah, I thought it would be interesting to see that. Day 2, plants. This OC is called Zenyu. He is the younger twin of a character called Isaoki. The older brother Isaoki is kind of, how do I explain it? He's kind of overbearing, so I guess you could call it sort of manipulatively overbearing. So if Zenyu makes any friends, Isaoki will be like, who are they? Do I know who they are? Tell me everything about them. And if Isaoki doesn't like them, then Zenyu's not allowed to see them, sort of thing, if that makes any sense. It makes sense in their backstory, but on its own it's like, wow, he's such a jerk, and he is a jerk. Zenyu is just, he's not meek, but he doesn't like to deal with confrontation, so he just can't be bothered to argue against his brother. So I guess the plants can sort of be a representation of Isaoki, as sort of, controlling and suppressing his brother, because he wants to control him for reasons that need to be kept secret. Day 3, stitches. I went for a human doll idea. You always see them in horror movies or anime and stuff like that, and I always find the concept so creepy, and I just really like the idea of that, one of my characters being in that sort of way, sort of propped up like that. I don't know, I find it really creepy and I like that. The reason why I used John, so this character is called John, he is in the same universe as my character Grimmy, is literally just because I said to my friend, pick a letter of the alphabet, and she chose J, and John is the only character whose name starts with J, so that's why I chose him. No real reason other than that. Day 4, food. Pretty straightforward. Eyeballs, fingers, hand, brains shaped candy, I guess. I mean, Weirdo isn't exactly what you call cannibal. I guess he's just very animalistic and will attack a human being and sort of kind of thing. He wouldn't casually go out like Tokyo Ghoul. He wouldn't casually go out and buy some human meat and go home, and he's not like that. But whether those are actual eyeballs or actual fingers is really up to what you'd prefer. I mean, I say they're candy, but they can be actual hands and brains if you want it to be. I don't know, doesn't really make much difference. Day 5, regular gore. I didn't really have anything for this one. This character is called Adamina, and she has red hair and is a singer. She's a bit of a bitch. but I love her all the same. Her whole thing about her is that she's like red, in the sense like she's not, her skin isn't red, but her hair is red, her lips are red, her clothes are red, and her whole theme is that. So I guess I use that as a thing for like my influence. Like what I said in the description is that she's a singer, so her lips are bleeding, I guess. I mean, that's fine. It's a bit random, but I don't know. It's alright. It's an interesting idea, but it's not anything I'd be like really proud of. But I like it. It's alright. Day 6, oozing / melting. This OC is called Iravat, or Iravat, depends how you want to say it, and is a Naga. So if you don't know what a Naga is, in short, it's a human snake spiritual being from Indian mythology. And they sort of like are like I don't know, deities of, you know, rivers, wells, lakes, basically anything water related in nature. I just used him because I thought, because I wanted some, I don't know, I just felt like drawing a snake would be cool for this one. Also I haven't drawn him recently, and I really like his design. So yeah, have Irabat with looking freaked out, and honestly I'm as freaked out as he is. Day 7, X-Ray. This character is called Frederick. Frederick Weissenstein. He is, I think, Austrian. He's Austrian. He's a single father of 2 kids. His daughter Ilona and his son Franz. I guess I chose him for this one is because he's sort of sadly happy. I mean, the situation why he's a single father isn't ideal. He means the best, but I think he struggles really, and I guess the reason why I use X-Ray is because his life is a bit bare bones. You know, he's a workaholic, and he tries to be there for his kids as much as possible, but he struggles. He struggles. All my characters struggle, but he struggles a lot. Day 8, gunshot wounds. So this character is called Sebastian. Sebi. He is in the same universe as Frederick, and he's head of a police department. One of them, not the main head, but I think he's head of police department of, like, he's head of something, but I completely forgot what I named him as, because it's a sort of made-up police department for my made-up country, so I've sort of forgotten all the departments I've made, but he's like one of the heads of the police department. He is Spanish, so, you know, I say Sebastian, but it would actually be like I can't do a Spanish accent, but so Sebastian sort of thing, but Sebi, why not? The reason why I drew sort of blue blood and sort of like, yeah, sort of magenta sort of blood as well, is because I ran out of red. Just is that stupid. I ran out of red, so I used different colors for an illusion of blood. It was fun drawing, to be honest. I really liked the expression that I gave him, but yeah, that's it. It looks a bit weird. I tried to do sort of a, like, in the left eye, like his right but our left. Sort of made it that the eye sort of, the vein sort of like burst in a sense, so that's why it's like sort of has like a beehive in his eye. It looks like a beehive, it doesn't look like veins, but I tried, and you know, I like it, so that's that. Day 9, insects. I did this one in watercolors, and this is my character Kyle, and he's in the same universe as Weirdo. So Weirdo is a sort of mutant that I've named Mishap. And these mutants, or these mishaps, their abilities are based off specific animals or a mix of animals. Kyle's base animal is a honeycomb moth, because they have extremely good hearing, so I wanted to do something like that. So in this drawing, you could say that he's sort of losing control over his moth side. I can't imagine a moth being especially violent, but you know, maybe he's having a bad day or something. But no, he's not happy about that because he's crying in the drawing. But having to look up close-up of insects has traumatized me, and I don't want to do that ever again. But I will have to, I know I will. Day 10, Jawless. So in this one I actually, in one drawing I ran out of red, in the next drawing I ran out of line art. My line art pen, which is stupid, but so I ran out of my usual line art pen, which is, I don't have it here, but is not this one. This one is, my usual line art pen is sort of like a firm tip, but this one I had to use sort of like a brush tip. And so it didn't dry the way I'm used to it to drying, so I would, you know, rub out the pencil too early, and so because of that the line art kind of smeared. For this drawing it sort of fit, it made like, it's, I don't know, it didn't fit but it looked kind of cool, so I went along with it anyway. This was when I had also like recently bought some Copic markers, so I was Copic? Yeah, I mean, you know, the markers everybody always use. But they bleed into the paper of my sketchbook, so you know, I this is like my first time practicing with them, I guess. So this character is called Connor, and he's originally an Outlast OC, you know, the video game, but honestly he could be an OC for anything at this point. And I guess in this one he's a zombie, because, you know, what else would he be? In this one I think my favorite thing I did was draw the eye. I really like how I did the eye effect of sort of dead looking. So yeah, I mean, it's not great, but overall I actually quite like it. Day 11, I did neon gore. Because I was doing this traditionally, I couldn't, you know, use like neon effects digitally. So I only had highlighters, and highlighters aren't great to draw with. So I went purposely for a messy, unfinished look, because I wanted to make it look like a sort of sickly, neon-looking, almost Frankenstein monster sort of thing. So this character is called Mune, so M-Y-U-N-E. She's Australian, and I went for this sort of like sickly looking neon, which is why the colours don't mix well together and why it looks really wrong and why her head's cut off. There's no reason why her head's cut off, it just added more gore. That's literally the only reason why. Day 12, bandages. Honestly, I'm not very proud of this one. It was just a quick random sketch. Not random, but like, I was very uninspired for this one. I like the eye, and I like how I did like the blood like sinking through the appearing through the bandages. But yeah, it's not very well done. Again, you can see that the line art smeared because I was still not used to that kind of paint and that kind of line art. So yeah. The reason why this character has no mouth, by the way, is because Zaishi, the name of this character, is actually a human experiment, and when she was created, she had no mouth, but she had a snake connected to her lower back that doesn't have any eyes. So it's like you could say her like a tail. It's connected to the middle of her back like a tail. And you could say that her mouth is where the snake is, and where the snake's eyes should be are her actual eyes. And so in this drawing you could say she's recovering from a recent experimentation has been done on her. Day 13, sick. I took the literal term of sick as sort of vomit, or like a sickly feeling, I guess, which is gross, but you know, I do what I can. I messed up the watercolors here again because of the line art. I wasn't using the line art, and the watercolors just completely mixed in wrongly. So yeah, that's what happened. So I went along with it anyway, and I made a sort of creepy looking monster. This character, he has mummy issues, which is unsurprising to be honest. But this character, his mother is extremely overbearing. Evan, he's called Evan, E-V-A-N, Evan, and he has like severe ADHD and anxiety, and it's actually because of his mother, because she was not controlling, but she had expectations of him that were far too high, like far too soon, like, you know, an overbearing parent. Like, she sort of let Evan do whatever he wanted, but you know, whatever he did do, she would judge. So let's say he wanted to do painting, I mean, you can, but it's not a good paying job. You know, it's that kind of thing. She would sort of dismiss anything she didn't consider worthy of her attention. And I guess because Evan grew up with that his whole life, you know, he grew in intense fear of his mother because of that, which is why there's like this sort of blonde ghost, female looking ghost, which is sort of meant to represent how he sees his mother. I messed up the watercolor on his face and his skin, which is why it's all murky looking, but I guess it kind of fits the drawing because it's meant to have that sort of terrified feel to it on Evan's part. Evan, I never know. Evan's part. So I actually quite like this despite it being messy, but I guess because of the feel of the drawing it sort of fits it. Day 4, glass shards. So with this one, so in university I'm studying cartoons and comic arts, and one thing that they like encourage us to do is to try out with different media. So in this one I tried to do the line art with a paintbrush, like a thin paintbrush, and black ink, you know, the Black India ink. To be honest, it's decent. It's not the best thing in the world, but for a first try I'd say it's pretty good. So this character is called Francis. He's my little cat boy. He actually has like dark blue skin, but you can't see that here, but that's fine. He's kind of a crybaby. Obviously in this situation he has a reason to cry, but generally he's sort of a crybaby that means well but doesn't really want to deal with confrontation, and you know is very attached to his father, which is Weirdo. Weirdo is his adoptive father, so he's very attached to Weirdo, and because of that, he's sort of you will always find Francis either on Weirdo's shoulders when he's a kid, or behind Weirdo, sort of hiding from the world, because he's a scaredy cat in the literal definition of it, for reasons that I cannot explain. But yes, so in this one he just mishandled a glass and got shards in his hand, and he tripped, which is why his knees are scratched. He'll be fine. Weirdo will look after him. He'll be fine. Day 15, Cyclops. Okay, so I got this wrong. In the original list it said Cyborg, but for some reason my mind was like, yeah, that says Cyclops. I was like, this character doesn't have a name. She doesn't. Yeah, and I don't know. I think I'm going to use her for one of my monsters in Grimmy's universe. So my mascot Grimmy is part of a story. I just use him as my sort of my online mascot because I need an online mascot and I like Grimmy. But I guess I can use her for that universe because that universe is sort of a fantasy mythology sort of world. So I guess I could plonk her in somewhere. I kind of like the idea that this character had 3 eyes, but 2 of them were sewn shut. So, you know, essentially making a Cyclops. So I don't know. I thought that was cool, so I went with that. I like it. It's quickly made, but it's cute. I kind of like it. Ooh, this one. So I really like this one. Day 16, Conjoined. The reason I like this one is because Isauki and Zenyu are actually rebooted characters of these 2 characters called Mikaru and Mikuru that I made, or Mikaru and Mikuru, depends how you want to say it. And I used to have them in this. I've cut all ties with this group. I used to be part of this group called MMA, or Matt's Magical Academy, and they were characters for that. So they were called Mikaru and Mikuru, and they were sort of identical twins that, you know, they were like really close twins. But then I had a falling out with the leader of the group, and so I just stopped using these characters that I had for the group, and I recently rebooted them all like in the last year. And so on the left you have Isauki, who is, you know, the controlling older twin, and on the right you have Zenyu, who is the one I used for the plant, the day 2 plants drawing. So in this drawing, you know, they're conjoined, and you could almost say that Isauki forced them to be conjoined, because, you know, there's scars and there's stitches, and if you look at the hands you can see that because again it wasn't the line art pen I'm used to. You can't really see it, but I was trying to go for the effect that, you know, Isauki was holding on tightly to Zenyu's hand, but Zenyu really just wants to get away. And this drawing is actually a redraw of a sort of how do you call it, of a Darkwood Circus alternate universe. So the alternate universe is that, you know, the Darkwood Circus, which is a song by Vocaloid, but the characters in that song were replaced by my OCs that I had at the time. So it's kind of a redraw of that, and honestly I really like it because, you know, when I compare it to my previous drawing from 2014, so this is a redraw from 2014, I can see the improvement in my drawings, and I'm just like, it makes me really happy. Basically, it's not the best drawing, but compared to the one I did in 2014, it's definitely better. The proportions are there, and Isauki and Zenyu actually look like twins, which is an oracle. But yeah, so I really like this one. Day 17 is Gemstone. Okay, so this character is kind of has to be sort of, I have to keep a lot of things quiet about this character, but basically it's this character is sort of how do I explain it? How do I explain it? It was kind of like a human experiment again, but he was human before he was captured and made into a human experimentation. And this is in Grimmy's world. But basically in Grimmy's world there are these, they're not chaos emeralds like in Sonic, but they're sort of like diamonds and emeralds and stuff like that, and if you insert it into a human being, it will give you like special properties, like special abilities, like really special abilities. So like I can't quite explain it. But basically, in this world that I created for Grimmy's universe, a lot of people have like magic and have, you know, elemental powers and stuff like that. But these characters who have like a stone or a sort of diamond inserted into them, like through the chest or through the eye or whatever, they have a wound. It becomes their life force, and they get special abilities that nobody else has. I'll probably reboot this, you know, as I go along. Like, I often like change ideas I had for a character, but this is the idea behind the character. So you could say this is a sort of failed experiment, that it went really wrong, which is why, you know, he has 1, 2, 3, 4. He has like 5 diamonds on him, 1 in his chest, 1 in his mouth, 2, 1 in each eye, and 1 as an earring. But still, he doesn't have any abilities. So you could say that he did not match with the diamonds in a sense, or emeralds. I don't. It doesn't really matter either way. Day 18, experiment. Boobs. No, okay, I'm joking. And this character is another one of those characters I have to keep secret a bit. But basically, she's immortal, and during a certain period in her life, she was sort of captured and made into a sort of, you know, because she was immortal. The people who had captured her wanted to see how far they could take the experimentations, you know, like see what they could do to her that would, you know, like a bit like in the morgue, they would like, you know, open her up and like see what she didn't need to survive and stuff like that, and then would like sloppily sew her back up. But she'll heal every time, but it's still painful, especially because they didn't give her any like painkillers or anything before they started the operations. Yeah, so that's that. So I can't really say too much about this character, but she was used as sort of an experimentation because she was immortal, or is immortal. Day 19, fruit/food gore. Because I already did food gore in a sense with Weirdo in I think day 4, I went for the fruit side of it. This OC is in the same universe as John and Grimmy. She's called Yumilia, and she has a lot of sort of orange, like sort of brown and sort of beige in her color. So I thought that that oranges would be like a good fit for her character. So I went for the idea that her left eye is like a slice of an orange, and that this slice of her neck coming out is also like an orange slice. So in canon, she isn't like a sentient orange, but in this drawing she is, because, you know, I don't know, oranges fit with her palette. So yeah, I know, I thought it was pretty cool. And Tipex is amazing. I used Tipex to do the white effects on the orange because I didn't have anything else. So yeah. Day 20, cannibal. Weirdo. He's kind of a cannibal, but not at the same time, is what I said. So is that candy? Is that an actual person's eye? Nobody will know ever except me, and I don't even know myself. So you can I don't know, you could say he's eating one of the eyes from the previous drawing I did of him. Doesn't really matter. I really like Weirdo's design. He's fun to draw. So, day 21, doll. Similarly to John, I went for sort of a human doll idea, but more of like a porcelain doll that has a human soul trapped inside. It's like a possessed doll, a bit like an Annabelle, but doesn't do anything. So this is Frederick's daughter, Ilona. The original character of Ilona, Frederick, and the son Franz was that they were black butler characters, so they were set in the Victorian era. So that's why I went for a porcelain doll idea, because you know, it fits the character. Like porcelain dolls were, you know, really popular during the Victorian era, especially. So I went for that idea and so she has like a crack on her face and, you know, a tear on the left eye, or her right eye, and a sort of, you know, her eyes are a sort of an emerald, a light emerald green, and she has a necklace that is sort of an emerald. So I emphasized those colors. Day 22, colorful / rainbow gore. So again, this is Francis. Basically, like I said, he has dark blue skin, but at the same time, he also has these markings. There's also like whiskers and like face markings that are made of light. So basically, whenever he gets really scared or anything like that, he can sort of flash these markings, and these markings sort of like hypnotize and like daze people. I don't mean like flash, they're only on his face, okay? Don't get any ideas. But I don't know, I thought, what about if his, I don't know, his abilities like were working overtime? Maybe he'd be taken over by the colors or something. I mean, it's not really gore, it's more like drool, like colorful drool or vomit if you want, but he's in pain. I guess that counts, kind of. I messed up with the shirt. I don't have any excuse for that. It looks messy, but I like the face. I like, yeah, it's alright. Okay, this day 23 cuts. This is so she was originally called Gelezenis Vilkas, which is the literal translation to Iron Wolf, and she was one of those characters I used to have for this for the same group that Isaoki and Zenyu come from. Her new name is Svajone Vitkus, which is a more, you know, relatively normal Lithuanian name. It's not normal, really. But so she's still Lithuanian. And she's called Svajone. I just call her Sva, but I don't know if that means anything in Lithuanian, so I don't try. And she's a sort of werewolf character. And she has these 3 claw marks on the side of her face that happen because reasons. But I didn't know if that counted as cuts or not, but I didn't really have any other ideas, so I was like, it counts. Her face is cut by claw marks, whatever. It's just the same thing, basically. Not really, but yeah. So yeah, she has these 3 claw marks that were caused by someone very close to her. So yeah. Day 24, Undead. I used Connor from the Jawless Day again, because like I said previously, it was sort of like a zombie idea. So I went for that again. I ran out of brown. I keep running out of colors. I'm not good at keeping up with what colors I actually have. So I ran out of his hair color, basically. So I decided, you know what? If he's dead long enough, his hair will just start graying anyway because of lack of life. So I decided he would just yeah, he'll just have gray hair. Day 25, burnt. Okay, I completely messed up this one. I'm not even gonna make an excuse for it. Although, to be fair, I was on a train when this happened. My course was going on a trip to London. So, like, I tried to make an effect with the blue pen of sort of shadowing, but it really backfired on me. So, that's fun. So, she's called Mary. You know, she's a very chill person, but in her early childhood, very early childhood, she got burnt by somebody. Still trying to figure that out. I have an idea for her backstory, but I'm still sort of trying to piece it together. But basically the idea that she was burned when she was very, very young, and so she had to grow up with these burns all over her body, and she's very insecure about them, but she has a boyfriend who loves her very much. It's okay. Day 26, decapitation. Okay, I really like this one. This one is probably one of my favorite ones. I colored this in with black ink, and this is Weirdo again. And the thing is that the only way you can really kill Weirdo is if he can't breathe, but not like suffocation, like with drowning or something like that won't stop him, but like specifically he can only die because of sort of like so carbon monoxide. Like that's the only way you can really kill him. So like if he cuts his head off, that's not going to kill him, which is why he's holding his own head. So you could either say, you know, he cut off his own head to prove a point, or his head was cut off by somebody else and he's just like putting it back on. So yeah, I don't know, I really like this one. It's simple, but it's like, I like it. Day 27, Possessed. Yeah, this one's creepy. I don't like horror movies much. If anybody knows me, you know I hate horror movies. Mainly because I'm a wuss. I'm not a big fan of Halloween either, but that's a completely different story. But yeah, so I don't like the idea of possession and stuff like that. I don't know, it just really creeps me out. But this is a character of mine who, for spoiler reasons, I have to keep a bit quiet. Basically, she gets possessed. So yeah, she can snap her neck to the side. It's so creepy. I hate it. I hate it. Oh, why did I draw that? Oh, ugh. Day 28, Monster. So the possessed thing scares me, but this is like, oh, Imogen, you're cute. She's not cute, but she's adorable. So this character's called Imogen, and she's a sort of a werewolf monster. So, you know, werewolves are cool. I really love werewolves, but I really wanted to make it creepy, and we were doing perspective this time in class. So I decided to do some perspective. So she's like crawling out of a vent or something, I guess. Imogen also has a human form, but in heart she's a monster in the sense of her looks and her tendencies, let's say. She's kind of in a relationship with my snake boy Iravat, but not at the same time. It's a bit difficult to explain, but they're very dependent on one another. At this time I had bought some new watercolors because I like the other ones, but I only had like maybe 10 colors, so I bought a bigger pack of watercolors. Also because my course at university requires I play around with different media. So media? I don't know. So I decided to buy more watercolors, so I had a better range of colors, basically. Day 29, Pastel Gore. So I had a pastel gore drawing last year, and this one was done digitally. To be honest, I still like the old one, but it was a bit, I don't know, I don't like pastel colors all that much. I find them kind of frustrating for some reason. They work on some moments, but not always. But I still like last year's drawing. It's very different to this year's pastel gore drawing. I don't know, I think there's more personality in this one. The proportions are a bit off, but I don't mind, it's alright. But I didn't have any pastel colors in traditional, so I just basically used some watered down watercolors so that it had an effect of pastel to make them more gentle looking. So I went with that. Day 30, Bones/Skeleton. Like, I'm really proud of that bones there, but I did. This is a new OC. His name is Colby, and I think it's a bad sign when the first time I draw this character is in a Goretober challenge, but you know what, it fits him. He's one of my many traumatized characters, so there we go. I don't really know what I did here. I kind of thought, you know, maybe his skin is, you know, weathering away or something happened. I know, I really like his design here. For the last drawing, it was Day 31 is combine 2 of the days. So what I went for was conjoined and extra limbs and mouth. So it ended up being a weird sort of cryptid creature. So it's a mix between Colby and Weirdo. I'm just putting Weirdo in everything now. It's, you know what, this is how it is. So I went for Colby and Weirdo, and a sort of weird conjoined monster of a sort of lion body, I guess you could say. So the lower, it's kind of like a centaur, so the lower body is a lion and then the top body is like 2 conjoined people. Whether it's a messed up experiment or it's just a monster, I don't know. It's really up to you to decide what you think of it. Colby looks traumatized and horrified of the situation. while Weirdo looks like he couldn't care less. I just added random body parts like eyes and stuff here and there. I messed up the lion feet, but it's alright, it could be worse. Then I just added this massive arm, like, well, I guess would be connected to the back of the lion, because extra limbs, and extra mouths and eyes are nice, but I wanted extra limbs, so yeah. So that was my Goretober 2018. This was very unscripted. I said it was going to be unscripted, so because of that there are lots of ums and stuttering and, you know, not much being said, to be completely honest. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video and my rambling. I did a more casual video because, like I said, I'm tired and I have a lot of work to do. All of my links, like my social media links, are in the description down below. The original list that I used for Goretober will be also linked down below, as will all the music I used in this video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.